Explaining the Paraguayan War. In the early 19th century, most South American countries got their independence from either Spain or Portugal. However, there was a large amount of distrust between the countries due to the fact that they all wanted to expand their hold over the region. The whole situation would be made worse with civil wars in Uruguay and Argentina. In Argentina, the Argentinian Confederation fought the anti-federalist Unitarian Party, while in Uruguay, the conservative Blancos fought the liberal Colorados. These parties would form alliances across the borders. By 1862, the Unitarians had won in Argentina, and the Blancos won in Uruguay. While all of this was going on, the Paraguayans had evolved into a regional force. Not only did they have one of the largest armies in the area, but due to their isolation, they had grown self-sufficient. In 1862, Francisco Solano Lopez would come to power inside of Paraguay after his father had died. He would quickly bring Paraguay out of its isolation by forming an alliance with the Blanco Party in Uruguay. However, in 1863, the exiled leaders of the Uruguayan Colorado Party would return to Uruguay. With the help of the Argentinian government, the Colorados would lead a rebellion against the Blanco government. Lopez would demand that the Argentinians stop supporting the Colorados, however, he would be ignored. In October of 1864, the Brazilians would enter the conflict on the side of the Colorado rebels. Because of this, Lopez would cut off his relations with Brazil and would begin conscripting troops into his already large army, which, to be said, was poorly equipped. In November, the Paraguayans would capture a Brazilian ship and, 1 month later, would declare war on Brazil and invade Mato Grosso. In January of 1865, the Colorados would win against the Blancos and would take power in Uruguay. Lopez would ask the Argentinians if he could move troops through them to get to southern Brazil, however, they would refuse, and so, in April of 1865, Lopez would make the decision to invade Argentina. Because of this, in May, Uruguay, Argentina, and Brazil would form an alliance. From there, they would declare war on Paraguay. In June, the Brazilians would defeat the Paraguayans at the Battle of Riachuelo, preventing them from supporting their armies in Argentina. However, the Paraguayan army would continue to march. Their march would eventually be halted, and by the end of 1865, they would be on the retreat. The Allies then began a march straight onto Paraguay. In September of 1866, the Allied armies would meet the Paraguayans at the Battle of Curupayty. The Allies would lose this battle, and because of it, they would be unable to launch another invasion for another year. In late 1867, the Allies would begin another invasion of Paraguay. They would invade from the north, and would divide Asuncion, the capital of Paraguay, from the military headquarters in the stronghold of Humaita. This would finally prompt the Paraguayans to withdraw from Mato Grosso. Meanwhile, the Brazilian Navy was laying siege to Humaita. In July, they would finally blast through the defenses, allowing the Brazilian Navy to move freely through the rivers to Paraguay. However, Lopez was very well defended behind the Picasiri stream. So, in November, Brazilian General Casillas demanded a 10-kilometer road be built so that they could attack Lopez from behind. While the construction of the bridge was underway, multiple important battles would be won, and the Allies would capture Villeta. This would force Lopez to evacuate Asuncion. As the road was built, the Allies would be able to assault the Paraguayans, however, Lopez would escape into the mountains. In January of 1869, the Allies would be freely able to move into Asuncion. However, Lopez would evade capture for another year until he was found and shot after trying to attack an Allied general. In conclusion, the Paraguayan War, also known as the War of the Triple Alliance, lasted from 1864 to 1870 and was the deadliest interstate war in Latin American history. Thank you for watching this video on the Paraguayan War.